We left off earlier taking a look at an insurance policy, and specifically one for a teenager. And so we created this during our last session here in Room 8. And if you don't have this would be a good time to pause the video, get this open, and if you were absent at that time, then what you'll want to do is get a copy of this from me and go ahead and create this worksheet. So if you need to do that, go ahead and pause this video, and then we'll come back to it here in a few minutes. So the goal of what we're trying to achieve here is to, of course, get that experience with Excel, but we're applying that to the knowledge that we all need with respect to insurance, and especially automobile insurance. And so you'll recall from some of our earlier discussions, what we're trying to do is to understand what each of these components of an auto insurance policy mean. And so we're covering bodily injury, property damage, medical payments, comprehensive collision, and then UM, which is uninsured motorist for bodily injury, and then uninsured motorist for property damage. And so we have talked about these, and we also have that Quizlet, vehicle insurance Quizlet, that's available to you to go over and study those terms. But we're going to take a look at the different amounts of coverage. In this case, here's $250,000 for each person, and then $500,000 for each accident, and then the premium is listed at a certain amount for each particular vehicle that a person owns or wants to have insured. So in our worksheet, we are just going to try to get a better idea of how these numbers come about. So let's go on over here and take a look at our insurance policy. And a lot of these numbers we've just created here. These are not based on any specific information regarding an insurance policy, just numbers that typically might occur. So you can go ahead and fill that information out there. First, last name, all of this, DOB's date of birth. The vehicle make is something the insurance company needs to know. That's whether it's a Ford, Chevy, General Motors, Toyota, a Honda. A model would be a particular name of that vehicle. Honda Accord. Accord would be the model. Let's see, Toyota Tundra, a Corolla. That all refers to the model. The vehicle year, of course, the year it was manufactured. The size of the engine. In this case, I just put cylinders to make it easy. You're either going to have a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, or an 8-cylinder vehicle. Transmission's either going to be manual or automatic. And then the VIN. Don't worry about filling that out right now, but a lot of times the insurance companies need to know that. That's the vehicle identification number. Let's take a look over here at some of these numbers here. And if you don't have these numbers, go ahead and fill these in right here. Let's get to that, and if you need to, go ahead and pause the video and fill in. Now this is not 100 divided by 300. This is just simply 100/300. And so go ahead and put those numbers in, and then we'll talk about those here in just a minute. Okay, the 100/300. What that means is this right here. This means that the insurance company will cover up to $100,000 for each person that might be injured in an accident. Now, keep in mind that bodily injury liability is when it's found to be your fault. If you cause harm to somebody, your insurance company, in this example, would cover up to $100,000 for each person that was injured. However, the total amount for that accident is going to be $300,000. So, if you have 5 people that you hurt and each of them sustains $100,000 in bodily injury, that'd be a total of $500,000, and you only have $300,000 coverage. That means you'd have to come up with another $200,000 on your own. So in general, more is better than less. You want to have a lot of liability insurance, but of course the more you get, the more you have to pay. Property damage, similar. This is when you damage somebody's property and it's your fault. Now this particular case here is covering up to $50,000. Now, $50,000 may seem like a lot of money, but it's really not that much, because you think about how much a new car costs. A lot of cars, new cars cost average of $30,000 to $40,000. And easily you can find vehicles that cost $50,000 to replace. So if you damage somebody's car and the car is a $60,000 vehicle, or you cause that much property damage to somebody, you're only going to be covered up to the $50,000, and you would have to come up with the balance. In the case I just gave there, if you damage somebody's property, it amounts to $60,000. You only have $50,000. You're going to have to come up with $10,000 on your own to cover that. Uninsured motorist for bodily injury. Now, this is when there's an accident, somebody else's fault, but you got to protect yourself. And so, believe it or not, there's some people that drive without insurance, or a hit-and-run driver. In that case, you would be covered up to $50,000 for damage to your property, or $50,000 for damage to yourself, and then $100,000 for the entire accident. All right, collision insurance covers your vehicle if you collide with something or you roll the vehicle over. In this case, cash value means they will pay you what the vehicle is worth at the time of the accident. They would go to Kelley Blue Book, look at the value based on the year of the vehicle and how many miles are on it, and you would get that cash value amount. Same thing with comprehensive. We've talked about comprehensive. This would be some other event other than a collision or a rollover. Baseball hits the window, tree falls on your car, and once again, that would be a cash value amount. So go ahead and make sure you have all of those in there. You can insert those comments if you like for study. And our next column, let's talk about deductible. I'm going to go ahead and insert a comment here. Now, deductible this is the amount you must pay before the insurance company pays for your loss. Make that a little larger. Make sure I got my spelling right there. Okay, so that's deductible. So you have to pay that before the insurance company will pay. Now, when it comes to liability, those don't apply, or for this uninsured motorist. But when it comes to collision, so if you wreck your car, roll it over, you're going to have to pay $500. And then the insurance company will pay the balance of that damage. And the same thing with comprehensive insurance. You have to pay the first $100. Then the insurance company will cover the rest of it. Base premium, go ahead and put those numbers in there. Once again, just made up these values here, and we're just using these as an example. The one thing that is for real here is that males are going to pay more than females. Males are going to pay more than females. So go ahead and put those numbers in, and then put these factors in for liability and uninsured motorist. And let's see. And for the female, put those factors in, and then we'll do a formula when we get right here. So if you need to, go ahead and pause and put those numbers in. All right, let's do some calculations here. Let's talk about the premium. So the premium is the price that you must pay for insurance. It's a fancy word for price. So this formula that I put in right here, simply taking the base premium and multiplying it times the male factor. Now, if you're female, then what you're going to do is use the female factor. So click on the base premium, multiplied times the factor. And so that's taking that $225. In fact, if you want, we can go ahead and put dollar signs on those. Get rid of those decimal places. And so it's simply taking this factor and multiplying it times a base premium, giving you that dollar amount there. And the next dollar amount is simply going to be whatever is in the base premium. We're not going to factor that one, so it's just equals that value located in G5. And once again, this one is going to be, if you're female, it would be the base premium times the female factor. If you are a male, we'll just repeat that. It's going to be the base premium times the male factor. Sorry guys, you have to pay more. Let me do that again. Base times that factor. And there you go. Now the ones that don't have those factors, we just simply put in the base premium. Equals that location there. And this one equals this location here. And so there's the formulas for calculating our premiums. Now we can add up our subtotal. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a bottom border here. Equals sum. And we'll select all those values and close it in another parenthesis. And there's our subtotal for our premium for insurance. And so make sure you have those done. And then next we'll move on to discounts. All right, let's take a look at discounts, how we're going to do that. These here are going to simply be yes or no answers. If the discount applies, we'll put a yes. If it doesn't, we'll put a no. And then we're going to put in some if statements like we did in the previous lessons where we learned how to do those logical operators. And so this particular one, you could take a look right up here. Well, let's see. I'll go ahead and open this up. It'll be maybe a little easier to see here. So what we're doing here is we're saying if whatever this value is, or whatever the contents of E11, whatever that happens to be, if it equals yes, then what we want to do is put in a minus $10. Otherwise, if the answer is not yes, if it's something else, then we want to put the word no in, meaning that the discount does not apply. So we don't get to take that discount. So let's go through how you do that. Equal sign, equals if, this location, if the contents of this, if E11 is equal to, and remember we got to put text in quotes, what do we want to have happen if that statement is true? So if that's true, then what we'll do is go ahead and put in, this is a good driver discount, let's go ahead and put in minus 50. If it's not true, then what we want to do is have it simply reply with the word no. Let's test it. Put in the word yes. And there's our minus $50. Okay, once again, the contents of E11 is equal to yes. Don't forget the quotes. If that's true, you have to separate that with a comma. then put in a minus 50 to show that we get a $50 discount. Otherwise, that's what that comma means, put in the word no. If I put in the word no, no discount. Put in the word yes, discount. All right, so we need to create those for each one of these. And so I'll let you go ahead and take care of that. And take a pause and finish that off. I'm going to go ahead and put in the word yes, multiple car. This is if you have several cars with the company. Good student. Of course, all of you are good students. Driver's training. Yep, all of us do that at Tule Lake. Passive restraint. That refers to like an airbag. Most cars are going to have that. And are you a non-smoker? Hopefully. Let's see what I put in there if I put the word no. Oh, got to pay $75 more. Let's take a look at that one. That one's a little bit different. Yeah, we're going to really punish you if you smoke. So it's not just, you're not going to get a discount. You're just going to pay more. Whether or not they do that or not, I don't know. But we're going to do it just so we can put something different in our if statement. So here's how we did that one. E16 is equal to yes. Take a $40 discount. Otherwise, pay $75 more. So that's what we're going to do on that one. But we're going to say yes. But it's fun to test that anyway. There you go. Now let's take a look over here at our total, how we're going to get that taken care of. Oh, by the way, we could put all these. This one here didn't line up over on the right side. Let's put that over there. Okay, so next we need to add this to this to get our total 6-month premium. So here we go. Equals the sum of all of these. Now you can do this a couple ways, but I'm going to do it this way. Equals the sum of all those discounts plus, plus the subtotal. Now, keep in mind, because we put negative numbers in there, we can add those and still get the right sum that we are looking for. Now, the other way we could have done this is we could have put in total for discounts, total discount. We could line that up over on the right side. And so we could do this as 2 steps. We could say, okay, well, let's just get a sum for those. So there's our total amount of discounts, $205. And then simply just add the subtotal plus the discounts. And there's our final premium, $1,092. Reflected, there's our subtotal, $1,297 minus that $205, and then it gives us our $1,092. So there you go. There's some practice using Excel and applying that to an insurance policy. Be sure to ask any questions that you may have, and we'll get that finished and move on to our next assignment. Make sure you save.